Good morning, welcome to GMC Kayaking. Right, this morning I'm going to be doing an upgrade on my new P&H Leo. This is a kayak here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a skeg upgrade kit. Now, to tell you a wee bit about this, I'll give you a wee look at this kayak in a minute. To give you an idea of this kayak, the upgrade that I'm talking about is here. Right, we've got a rope and cleat system, right, which I'm going to upgrade to a skeg slider kit. Now, this is a P&H Leo. This is the normal plastic version. It's not the CLX, the Coralite X version. This is a normal plastic. So the normal plastic version comes without a few features that the CLX has got. Ideally, it comes without the day hatch, sweetie box as some people call it, which I've already installed. Now we've got the skeg slider kit. Now the box is already moulded into the kayak, so it should be a case of taking the cleat system out and installing the skeg slider. This is going to be a bit tricky, so I'll try and film this to show you the process. There may be a wee bit of plastic welding involved. I've never done this before, just bear with me on it, but I'll run through it. There is a slight issue here. I've deployed the skeg, and I'll show you. Here's the skeg deployed, right? Looks fine, but because this boat is compatible with a scudder system, you get in any current where the water's gone side onto you, that moves. I don't have the scudder system on this, that still moves, which means when you try to lift that up, you've got to have that blade level. Now, here's the issue here. Into your skeg scudder box at the back here, we have a top cap here, and I don't know if you can see these grooves, right? There's lugs on the top cap there, and at the other side the lugs are meant to sit in the grooves to stop it moving, but when they've put this boat together, the lugs are only sitting in the groove. So what you need to do is take it out, slot it back in. So what you're going to do here is just lift this out. That's your bar for moving the skeg. Turn that round, and this should just slot back into place with a bit of manipulation. As you can see, the lugs are lined up. The angle of this, that doesn't really seat in there very well, but it seats into this one. Just move that cable out of the road, and there we go. First of all, we deploy the skeg, and we want to tape that up. So we take some masking tape, decorator's tape, whatever you want to call it. Right, so that holds the skeg up, keeps that in place, and that allows us to use the slack of the skeg cord, so it's not going to swing back on us. So now we don't have any tension on that, we can concentrate on taking this out. A couple of nuts at the back. What I'm going to do is keep all this together. If this upgrade fails, I can always reinstall this. Right, so like I said, for this operation, I'm going to need a Phillips star screwdriver, a 7mm spanner, ring spanner side preferably, makes it easier. Small nuts at the bottom here, so you take one, pop it in the groove of the seat, there's 2 nuts on each screw. And that comes apart. The fun part is trying to get that wee knot out, so let's persevere with that. So once you've managed to undo this knot, slide the ball stopper out, take that apart, and you should be left with this. This is where it's going to get tricky, but we'll come to that in a minute. Then you want to reassemble this as best as you can, keep it all together. So let's get on with reassembling this. Right, so once you've assembled this back together like that, we've got the ball stopper at the end. We're going to put these away for safekeeping, just in case this fails, and we can revert back to this. The next stage is going to be taking this out, but you want to be getting your new skeg line in through the tubes. Now, I've seen some people doing it. They tie a fisherman's knot, they tie them together. I don't think that's going to get through there. So as the end of this is burnt and pretty solid, I'm going to get a wee bit of super glue and stick it on there, stick the two of them together, see if that's going to be strong enough to pull them through. We'll just, with a bit of luck, that might work. So what we're going to do is carefully work super glue up the nozzle so not too much comes out. If there's anything in these tubes at all, there we come, here it comes. And apply a generous amount there. Going to leave that to set for a bit, see if that creates a bond or not. Just enough to snip a wee bit off there at the end when we pull it through. That seems strong enough, that'll take maybe the strain. I'm going to try and pull that through. First of all, I need to disengage the skeg. So what we'll do is take the tape back off. And there she goes, strapped right in. Right, that was a fair bit of messing about, but I managed to glue the two ends together and pull it through. Missed a bit of recording there, I was just fine tuning some stuff. So I've tied it off at the end up there so there's nothing else comes through. What I'll be wanting to do is basically tie a knot in the end here. There we are. So basically what I want to do is Tie that off with a couple of big granny knots, I think we'll call them. One there. There'll be another one for safekeeping. Trim off some of these fibres. And then burn my ends. And then it's just a case of taping the skeg back up again. So let's get it. So we've got the old cable for the old skeg, for the rope and cleat system. What I've done is I've took the ball, tied it off at the end, tied it off there, 2 bits. It ain't going anywhere. I can keep this together along with that. Like I say, in case this fails, then I've always got a go-to to get back. Next step. These 2 holes are going to need welded, but before we do that, let me show you this. So we have a push fitting, right? They give you this along with the skeg system, the new slider kit Mark II. That goes in there like such. Nut goes on. I'm going to put this hand tight for the moment just for demonstration purposes. This goes out here like so. So as you can see, there's a bit of a gap left. Here. And that's not ideal. So what do I do? And it's too far forward here. So as that's a tube in there, I reckon if I cut half of that off, take a hacksaw, maybe cut half of it down to about here, and then cut into it, and we might get a better fit. So let me go and do that and we'll see if that makes any difference. So I've cut this bit out. I'm just going to get a wee clean up. And we'll see if this fits in any better. Lovely. Perfect. And that means I don't need to re-drill that hole. It means I don't need to weld it. So all I need to do is weld the 2 bottom pieces here. Got my plastic welding rod. Well, welding rod. I've got my plastic for fitting it in, my igniter, and this. Let me just see if I can get this lit. And there she goes. I don't know if you can see that flame. And what you're wanting to do with this is kind of gently brush it. Take those, shine it, and then dab it on. Twist. Keep the pressure hot. And if you don't succeed, try again and twist it off. Next you want to get some Sudaflex. I'm going to fill this hole with Sudaflex, get a good along the sides, enough for it to ought to take, and then I might do a wee bead around the edge. Once we're done I'll put the other nozzle on, but for now it's recommended that we do this. Good thick bead there. And a good thick one right up the middle here. We want a lot on there, right? Make sure you've got plenty of. I should have tightened this first, so let's get on it. Was a silly mistake on my part. Right. Now the Sudaflex is quick drying, It does say 24 hours usually, but that's quick drying stuff. So what I'm going to do is put this block on here, I'm going to cut it, tape it on to the kayak, and then I'm going to leave it for a few hours and we'll check it. So I used foam blocks just to get a bit of tension on it, to keep the tension on it, tensioned in. Right, I've gave the Sudaflex about 2.5 hours to set. Sudaflex 40F usually takes 24 hours, right, but the stuff I was using was a fast set. Now I'm sure they're still curing to get done, but this is solid enough that I can continue, and then we'll leave it. But aye, this is definitely absolutely rock solid. Sudaflex fast set. Right, so the next stage is tying up the skeg wire, bringing it through and attaching it onto the push fitting. So once we attach it onto the push fitting, we'll mark it up to see where we're going to tie or not, and then we'll see where we can drop the skeg. Okie doke. So and that's that rock solid. Right, for this next step, you're going to need a permanent marker or a Sharpie or something to mark up your cord. And this is how to get the travel on your skeg. So we'll pop that there. This is the hole that you want to be getting your skeg wire going through, or your skeg cable, cord, or whatever you want to call it. Now, this is going to be quite footery. So eventually I've got it through. It's really tight, it takes a bit of working about. Now I've took the tape off at the end of the skeg here, and I'm just trying to get my travel distance and allow for some stretching as well. So let's see, that's the skeg deployed. What you want to do is take your Sharpie, you can mark there. And that's where your knot wants to be. Tape up again. So we've got the skeg now taped up. We've got to mark where we want our knot to be. And it is roughly there. So once you've got your travel and your skeg, you want to cut this back as far down to the knot as possible. Get your burner. Good burn on that. Because you don't want your cable or your skeg cord getting in the road of this. It's got to sit in there. With that good knot, that looks perfect. There's room for a bit of stretch, and you can always make adjustments at a later date. And you want that to be seated in there, nice and snug. And then the final part is your bar goes in into that hole at the back there, sits in that groove. You want your 3mm Allen key. Now if you have a look at this, see that lug has to go at the back. Line them up nicely. Screw one side in, not tight. Screw the other side in, not tight. And just work your way around. You don't want to get this overly tight, remember. You just want it tight enough that you can get back off again. And that should have a working skeg sliding kit. Take the tape back off the back of the skeg, deploy the skeg, it's sitting up, down, up, down, up. And we have a working skeg sliding system on this now, rather than the old rope and cleat. So I'll come back out and check this later on. Just put the cover back in the skeg compartment here. That just fits in there like that. Pull that tight. Tuck under there. So I hope this has been helpful. I know I've looked a bit spaced at times. I was just trying to sort out things and figure things out in my head. But aye, we've got this skeg sider system working on the Leo. It's looking good, so I can't wait to get it out for a wee trial. Get it out maybe next weekend when I'm not working, if the weather holds up. Get a test, and that's us. We're up to spec, same spec as a Coralite X boat for being a rotomold Leo. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.